Throughout the chamber, many eyes filled with tears. The Valorans had been nearly wiped out for one reason. They had helped humanity grow. They had believed that knowledge should be shared, not hoarded. They had died for that belief. Never again, Yuri said firmly. Never again will genocide be used as a political tool. Never again will knowledge be restricted to maintain power. Never again will any species face extinction for the crime of friendship. She gestured to a human technician who activated a holographic display. It showed the remains of the Council fleet, not destroyed, but disarmed and repurposed. We have not destroyed the Council's technology, Yuri explained. We have not burned their records or erased their history. Instead, we open it to all. Their warships will become exploration vessels. Their weapons research will be turned to peaceful purposes. Their restricted knowledge will be freely available. Some of the representatives looked shocked. They had expected Earth to do to the Council what the Council had done to the Valorans. But they deserve punishment, said one, a member of a species that had suffered greatly under Council rule. And they will face justice, Taewan replied. The leaders who ordered genocide will stand trial, but we will not punish entire species for the crimes of their leaders. We will not become what we fought against. The meeting continued for hours as the new alliance began to take shape. It would not be easy. 10,000 years of Council rule had left deep scars. Some wanted revenge. Others feared change. Many simply didn't know how to live in a galaxy where they were free to choose their own path. But the foundation was laid. A new order, built on cooperation rather than dominance, on sharing rather than hoarding, on respect rather than fear. Later, as the sun set on the former Council capital world, Taiwan and Haun stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The lights were coming on, glowing softly in the gathering dusk. Do you think it will work? Haun asked. I don't know, Taiwan admitted. But I know we have to try. The Council ruled for 10,000 years, she pointed out. Their way was stable, if nothing else. Stable like a prison, he replied. And even the strongest prison falls eventually. From another balcony they heard laughter. A group of children, human, Valoran, and 3 other species were playing some kind of game together. They were too young to fully understand what had happened or how close their worlds had come to destruction. That's why it will work, Taewan said, nodding toward the children. Not because of treaties or alliances, but because of them. They'll grow up in a different galaxy than we did. Haun smiled slightly. I hope you're right. So do I, he said. But even if it all falls apart tomorrow, we did the right thing. We stood up to bullies. We defended our friends. We refused to bow to tyranny. In the new assembly hall, the memorial stone glowed softly in the dim light. Half blue for the Valorans, half green for Earth. A reminder of what had been lost and what had been gained. A promise to do better, to be better. The Council had thought to make an example of the Valorans, to show what happened to those who defied their will. Instead, they had created something they never expected. A galaxy united not by fear, but by hope. And it had begun with a simple act of friendship between 2 species who believed that everyone deserved the chance to reach for the stars. The end. Silence. Primitive species often react this way when faced with superior power. Sir, our sensors detect no military activity. Their orbital stations appear to be civilian only. Their ships are primitive transport vessels. As expected, Grelke said. The Valorans gave them ideas above their station, but they are still children playing with toys they don't understand. He straightened his ceremonial armor. Prepare the landing ships. I will personally accept their surrender. The subjugator and its 19 support vessels moved into high Earth orbit. Their sensors scanned the planet, finding nothing concerning. The humans continued their daily lives, seemingly unaware of the fleet that had come to claim them. Sir, the communications officer called suddenly. We're detecting a transmission from Earth's moon. Put it on screen, Grelk ordered. The screen remained dark, but a voice came through clearly. Council vessels. This is Admiral Taewan Lee of Earth Defense Force. You have entered our space uninvited after committing genocide against our allies. You will power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Laughter erupted across the bridge. Grelk himself chuckled at the absurdity. Earth Defense Force? They have no defense force worthy of the name. Should we respond, sir? Asked the communications officer. Tell them to. Alarms blared across the bridge. The tactical officer stared at his screen in disbelief. Sir, multiple ships appearing from behind Earth's moon, more launching from Mars. Energy signatures detected in the asteroid belt. Grelk rushed to the tactical display. What he saw made his blood run cold. Hundreds of warships were emerging from hiding places throughout the solar system. They had been there all along, waiting. Impossible, he whispered. They can't have this technology, they can't. The first volley from Earth's ships hit before the Council fleet could raise their shields. Beams of concentrated gravity cut through 3 Council vessels like they were made of paper. The ships didn't explode. They imploded, crushed by forces their builders had never imagined possible. Return fire, Grelk shouted. Launch all fighters. Contact High Command for reinforcements. But the subjugators' weapons found no targets. The Earth ships moved in ways that defied known physics, disappearing and reappearing across the battlefield. Sir, our communications are being jammed, reported a panicked officer. We can't call for help. On the Vengeance, Admiral Taiwan watched the battle unfold. Beside him stood Koru, the last Valoran ambassador. The Council never understood, Koru said softly. When they shared technology with the Valorans, we studied it, respected it, and built upon it slowly. When they shared technology with humans, we took it apart, figured out how it worked, and immediately thought of ways to make it better, Taiwan finished. Or worse, depending on your perspective. Earth ships moved with deadly precision. The smaller vessels targeted the Council fighters while the larger warships focused on the capital ships. The Council fleet had expected to face primitive missiles and basic energy weapons. Instead, they found themselves being torn apart by technology they thought impossible for lesser species to develop. Admiral, called the tactical officer. The enemy flagship is attempting to retreat. Taiwan's eyes narrowed. Disable their engines. I want that ship intact. The Vengeance fired a precision strike that cut through the subjugator's engine section. The massive Council warship went dark, drifting helplessly in space. All enemy vessels have been destroyed or disabled, reported the tactical officer. No casualties reported on our side. The bridge crew cheered, but Taiwan remained solemn. This is only the beginning, he said. Phase 2 begins now. Across the solar system, Earth ships prepared to jump to faster than light speed. Their destinations, key Council worlds, military bases, and communication hubs. The carefully planned counterattack was about to begin. On the crippled subjugator, Grelk watched in horror as Earth vessels surrounded his ship. He had expected to accept a surrender today. Instead, he would be the one surrendering. If the humans were merciful enough to accept it. The communication screen activated, showing Admiral Taiwan's face. Commander Grelk, you will be boarded. Your crew will be detained. You will face justice for the genocide of the Valoran people. You cannot do this, Grelk sputtered. The Council will send thousands of ships. They will burn your world to ash. Taiwan's expression didn't change. By the time they learn what happened here, it will be too late. Your reinforcements won't come because your communication relays are already being destroyed. Your shipyards won't send more vessels because they are already under attack. Grelk stared in disbelief. That's not possible. You can't have that many ships. We don't need that many, Taiwan replied. We just need to be where you don't expect us, using weapons you don't understand. As Earth Marines boarded the subjugator, similar scenes played out across Council space. Earth had spent years studying Council defense systems, communication networks, and supply chains. They knew exactly where to strike to cause maximum damage with minimal forces. General Ha-Yun coordinated the attacks from Earth Command. The holographic display showed dozens of successful operations across Council space. Status report, she ordered. All primary targets neutralized, reported Colonel Jun Seo. Phase 1 is complete. Phase 2 is proceeding as planned. Any word from the council? They're in chaos. Their leadership is cut off from their military. Their ships are being ambushed at every turn. Ha-Yun nodded grimly. And the Phoenix Protocol? Ready, if needed, Junseo replied. But it doesn't look like we'll need it. President Yuri entered the command center, her face showing both relief and resolve. The council must be wondering what happened, she said. One day they were exterminating the Valorans. The next their mighty empire is falling apart. They never understood humanity, Ha-Yun said. They thought we would react with fear, like the other species they've conquered. They didn't realize that humans react to fear with anger, and we've had years to plan our anger very carefully. As the reports continued to come in, one thing became clear. For the first time in thousands of years, the Galactic Council was facing defeat. And the message sent with each precision strike was the same. This is for Valora. Earth retaliated with fury. After Valoran allies were slaughtered by the Galactic Council, the Great Council Chamber looked different now. The stone seats where ancient beings once plotted genocide sat empty. The massive doors that had been closed to lesser species for 10,000 years now stood open. And at the center of the room, where the Council's sacred flame once burned, stood a simple memorial stone, half blue for the Valorans, half green for Earth. 6 months had passed since the day Earth fought back. 6 months of careful, precise strikes against the Council's power. Not revenge, but justice. Not destruction, but change. Admiral Taewan walked slowly through the chamber, his footsteps echoing on the marble floor. He stopped before the memorial, stone, and placed his hand upon it. We did it, old friend, he said quietly, thinking of Koru, who had not lived to see this day. The last Valoran ambassador had died protecting Earth children during a desperate council attack on a civilian shelter. The door opened behind him. President Yuri entered, followed by representatives from 24 species. Some were former council members who had chosen to join the new alliance. Others were species that had suffered under council rule for centuries. It's time, Yuri said. Taewan nodded and followed them to the new assembly hall. Unlike the old council chamber with its hierarchy of seats, this room was arranged in a circle. All seats were equal. At the center stood another memorial stone identical to the one in the old chamber. Let us begin, Yuri said, taking her place. The first meeting of the Galactic Alliance is now in session. The representatives took their seats. Some still looked nervous, as if expecting the old council masters to return and punish them. Others sat tall, proud to be treated as equals for the first time. We gather today not as rulers and subjects, but as allies, Yuri continued. Not to dictate, but to discuss, not to control, but to cooperate. From her seat, Ha-Un observed the gathered species. She had led Earth's military campaign against the Council, striking with surgical precision at the systems that had kept the tyrants in power for millennia. Now her job was different, to ensure security for the new alliance. First, Yuri said, let us welcome the newest member of our alliance. The doors opened, and a small group entered. Blue-skinned, four-armed, with eyes that shimmered like rainbows, Valorans. Not many, perhaps 50 in total. They had been off-world when their homeworld was destroyed. Hidden by sympathetic species, they had survived the Council's attempt to erase their entire race. Their leader stepped forward. I am Nira, daughter of Koru. Her voice was steady despite the emotion that made her skin ripple with color. We thank you for this place among you. Though we are few, we carry the memory of billions. We will help build something better from the ashes of what was lost. 3 hours later, President Min addressed a stunned Earth. Behind her stood representatives from every nation, united in purpose. Today, we have witnessed an atrocity beyond comprehension, she said. Our friends and allies, the Valorans, have been slaughtered by those who claim to represent galactic civilization. The Galactic Council has shown its true nature, not as guardians of peace, but as tyrants who murder those who dare to think differently. She paused, her eyes hard. We have received their demand to surrender. Their fleet approaches expecting us to bow before them as they drop the ashes of our friends at our feet. She shook her head. That is not the human way. We will not submit to those who rule through terror. In orbit around Mars, hidden shipyards that had been working day and night for years began to open. Ships designed with Valoran assistance but built with human determination moved into defensive positions. Deho stood on the bridge of the Defiance, Earth's first true warship. Beside him stood Koru, the last Valoran ambassador to Earth, his skin now bearing the black markings of mourning. The Council believes we are primitive, Deho said to his crew. They think we will surrender rather than face their power. He looked at the tactical display showing the approaching Council fleet. They had sent only a small force, assuming Earth would be easy prey. They do not understand humanity, he continued. They do not understand what happens when you threaten our home or harm those we care about. Koru raised his 4 hands in the Valoran gesture of resolve. My people believed in yours, Admiral. Even now, as the last of us die, we believe. Deho nodded grimly. Then let's show the Council exactly what they've awakened. As the Council fleet entered the solar system expecting submission, they found only silence, no communications, no surrender. And then, from behind Earth's moon, humanity revealed its answer to tyranny. The war for Earth's future had begun. Earth retaliated with fury after Valoran allies were slaughtered by the Galactic Council, the emergency. Bunker beneath Sol hummed with activity. 300 meters below the surface, Earth's military leaders gathered around a massive holographic table. The room was designed to withstand any attack. Even the weapons they had seen destroy the Valoran homeworld. General Ha-Yun stood at the head of the table, her face illuminated by the blue glow of the hologram. It showed Earth's solar system and the approaching Council fleet. The ships moved slowly, confidently. They expected no resistance. They think we're helpless, Ha-Yun said, her voice steady despite her anger. They think we'll surrender like scared children. Admiral Sunho nodded grimly. They believe humans are primitive, that we have no defense against their technology. That's our advantage, said Dr. Minsu, Earth's lead scientist. He adjusted his glasses and pressed a button on the table. The hologram shifted, revealing hundreds of hidden structures throughout the solar system. For the past 5 years, we've been preparing. The gathered leaders watched as the hologram zoomed in on Mars. Beneath the red planet's surface, enormous shipyards stretched for kilometers. Similar facilities existed on Europa, Titan, and hidden in Earth's asteroid belt. Operation Shadow Shield, Ha-Yun said. Begun the day the Valorans warned us about the Council. We hoped we'd never need it. How many ships do we have? Asked President Yuri, her eyes fixed on the hologram. 300 combat-ready vessels, Sunho replied. Another 200 will be ready within days. Minsu stepped forward. Our ships combine Valoran knowledge with human innovation. The Valorans gave us the foundation, but they were surprised by what we built upon it. The hologram shifted again, showing the interior of one of Earth's warships. Unlike the graceful Valoran vessels or the imposing Council dreadnoughts, Earth's ships were compact and practical. They looked almost primitive from the outside, but inside they contained technology that even the Valorans had only theorized about. The Council doesn't know about our quantum shields or our gravity weapons, Minsu continued. They don't know. We can track their ships through hyperspace. They don't know about Project Phoenix. The room fell silent at the mention of Phoenix. It was Earth's most closely guarded secret, a weapon of last resort. I pray we never need to use Phoenix, President, Yuri said softly. Ha-Yun nodded. We all do, Madam President. But if the Council does to Earth what they did to Valora, she didn't need to finish the sentence. Everyone in the room had seen the recordings from the Valoran homeworld. Cities burning, billions dead in hours. A civilization 10,000 years old, wiped out because they dared to help humanity grow. In another part of the bunker, Koru, now the last Valoran ambassador, worked with human scientists to prepare data crystals. Each crystal contained copies of Valoran knowledge, history, art, science, and memories. If Earth fell, these crystals would be launched into deep space beyond the Council's reach. Your people saved what they could, Koru said, his skin pale, with grief. Now we must save what remains. Dr. Jia, the lead xenobiologist, placed a gentle hand on Koru's shoulder. We will not let your people be forgotten, Koru, and we will not let the Council destroy another world. Back in the command center, Ha-Un received an update from Earth's outer defense network. The Council fleet has passed Neptune's orbit. They'll reach us in 3 days. They've sent only 20 ships, Sunho noted. They think that's enough to subdue an entire planet. Ha-Un's eyes narrowed. Their arrogance will be their downfall. Across Earth, people prepared for the coming storm. Some cities were evacuated. Their populations moved to underground shelters. Others continued as normal, part of the deception. Let the Council think Earth was unaware of the danger. Let them think humans were naive. In shipyards across the solar system, final preparations were made. Captains gave speeches to their crews. Engineers made last-minute adjustments. Soldiers said goodbye to their families, not knowing if they would return on the Vengeance. Earth's flagship Captain Taewan addressed his crew. The Council believes they are coming to accept our surrender. They believe we will bow before them as they drop the ashes of our friends at our feet. He paused, looking at the determined faces before him. They do not understand humanity. They do not understand what happens when you threaten our home or harm those we care about. His words echoed those spoken by Admiral Daeho days earlier. They had become something of a battle cry among Earth's forces. In her office, President Yuri made a final recording to be broadcast after the battle began. People of Earth, by the time you hear this, we will be at war. Not a war we sought, but one forced upon us by those who believe might makes right. We fight not just for our freedom, but for justice, for the memory of the Valorans, for the right of all species to determine their own destiny. She paused, her eyes hard with resolve. The Council thought to make an example of our friends. They believed this would frighten us into submission. They were wrong. They have only taught us what awaits if we surrender. As the Council fleet approached, Earth appeared peaceful. Normal communications continued. Cities glowed at night. There was no sign of the massive military buildup, no hint of the trap about to be sprung. All ships maintain position, Ha-Un ordered from the command center. Let them come to us. Let them think we are weak. The waiting was the hardest part. Hours crawled by as the Council fleet entered Earth's solar system, confident in their superiority. They've sent a message, reported the communications officer. They demand our immediate surrender and the handover of all Valoran technology. No response, Ha-Un ordered. Let them wonder why we're silent. The Council ships moved, closer, their weapons ready but inactive. They expected submission, not resistance. All ships prepare for Operation Fury, Ha-Un said quietly. On my mark. Earth was ready. The Council was not. Earth retaliated with fury. After Valoran allies were slaughtered by the Galactic Council, Commander Grelk stood on the bridge of the Subjugator, the most powerful warship in the small fleet sent to Earth. He watched the blue planet grow larger on the main screen and felt nothing but contempt. Still no response to our demands, reported his second-in-command. Grelk made a dismissive gesture with his upper limbs. They are frightened into sick. I'll write an engaging 900-word story for Part 1. First contact in third-person style using simple English and Korean names as requested. Earth retaliated with fury after Valoran allies were slaughtered by the Galactic Council. The stars twinkled like diamonds against the black canvas of space. Captain Daeho Kim stood on the bridge of the Earthship Horizon, his eyes fixed on the main screen. A strange vessel approached, unlike anything humans had ever seen before. It glowed with a soft blue light and moved with impossible grace. Captain, they're sending us a message, said Subin, the communications officer. Her fingers danced across her control panel as she worked to decode the alien signal. Daeho nodded. Put it on screen. The image flickered, then stabilized. A tall, blue-skinned being appeared. It had 4 arms and eyes that shimmered with colors like a rainbow. The aliens spoke, and their translation computers struggled to keep up. Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Valorans. We come in peace and friendship. That was 3 months ago. Now the horizon floated beside the massive Valoran ship as they prepared for the first official meeting between their peoples. Taeho straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. "Are you nervous, Captain?" asked Jinho, his second in command. "Of course," Taeho replied with a small smile. "We're about to meet aliens who could destroy us if they wanted to, but instead they want to be friends." The docking procedure went smoothly. Taeho led his team of 5 into the Valoran ship. The air smelled like cinnamon and ocean spray. The walls glowed with soft light that seemed to come from nowhere. A Valoran stepped forward. "I am Koru, ambassador of the Valoran people." His 4 hands made a complex gesture that their cultural experts said meant respect. Taeho bowed. "I am Captain Taeho Kim of Earth. We are honored to meet you." Koru's rainbow eyes blinked slowly. "We have watched your world for many years. Your people grow and learn quickly. We believe you will make good friends in this big, sometimes dangerous, galaxy." Over the next few hours, Koru showed them around the ship. The Valorans had technology far beyond Earth's, ships that could cross the galaxy in days, medical devices that could cure almost any disease, and energy sources that never ran out. "Why share this with us?" Taeho asked as they stood in a garden-like room filled with plants from 100 worlds. "You could keep all this for yourselves." Koru's skin rippled with colors, their version of a smile. "Because the strong should help the young grow, not hold them down. Not all in the galaxy believe this." "You mean there are others out there?" Jinho asked. "Many others," Koru said, his colors darkening. "Some are good friends, some are not. The Galactic Council rules most of known space. They are old and set in their ways. They believe younger races should know their place." "And where is our place?" Taeho asked. "That is for you to decide," Koru replied. "But we Valorans believe all peoples have the right to grow at their own pace, to reach their full potential. The Council disagrees. They think power should stay with those who have always had it." 6 months later, the first Valoran embassy opened on Earth. Ships from both worlds traveled back and forth, exchanging knowledge, culture, and technology. Humans learned about the wider galaxy, while Valorans enjoyed Earth's art, music, and food. Taeho, now promoted to Admiral, sat in his office reviewing reports from the first human ships venturing beyond our solar system with Valoran guides. His door chimed. "Enter," he called. Mina, his assistant, stepped in. "Admiral, Ambassador Koru is here to see you." Koru entered, his colors muted and dark. Taeho had learned enough about Valorans to know this meant worry. "My friend," Koru said, "I bring troubling news. The Council has called us to answer for our relationship with Earth. They claim we have broken their rules by helping you advance too quickly." "That's ridiculous," Taeho said. "They can't tell us how fast we can learn." "They believe they can," Koru replied. "They have ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. They do not give up power easily." Taeho stood and walked to the window. Outside, a Valoran ship rose gracefully into the blue sky. "What do they want?" "From us. They want Earth to accept Council rule, to follow their path of slow, controlled development, and they want us to stop helping you." "And if we refuse?" Koru's colors darkened further. "Then they may take action. The Council controls vast fleets, weapons you cannot imagine." Taeho turned to face his friend. "We won't be bullied, Koru. And we won't abandon our allies either." "I know," Koru said. "That is why we chose to contact Earth first. Your people are young, but you have strong hearts. You understand friendship and loyalty." He paused. "The Council will send representatives soon to inspect Earth. We must be careful." "We'll be ready for them," Taeho promised. What neither of them knew was that the Council had already decided Earth's fate. In their hidden chambers, ancient beings who had ruled for millennia looked at reports about the fast-growing humans with their Valoran allies. "Too dangerous," one said. "They learn too quickly. The Valorans have gone too far this time, said another. Examples must be made. The decision was unanimous. Earth and its allies would be taught a lesson about the true order of the galaxy. But they had underestimated humanity's resolve. Earth retaliated with fury. After Valoran allies were slaughtered by the Galactic Council, the council chamber buzzed with whispers. 23 ancient species, all represented by beings who had lived for centuries. They gathered around a massive stone table, their eyes fixed on the holographic display showing Earth and its Valoran allies. The humans advanced too quickly, said Mach 2, the Dravid representative. His gray skin wrinkled with disgust. And the Valorans helped them break our laws. High Counselor Wren stood, his 6 eyes narrowing. We have monitored their communications. The Valorans have shared technology beyond the permitted levels. This cannot continue. What do you suggest? Asked Yunmi, the only council member who seemed troubled by the direction of the conversation. Her species had once been young like humans, before being shaped by council guidance over millennia. An example must be made, Wren said coldly. The Valorans have broken our most sacred law by helping the humans advance. They know the punishment. Yunmi's eyes widened. Surely you don't mean... The decision is made, Wren cut her off. The fleet is already moving into position. On Earth, Admiral Dae-Ho Kim sat in an emergency meeting with Earth's Defense Council. The Valoran ambassador Koru stood before them, his blue skin pale with fear. Our spies report council warships gathering near our borders, Koru said. They claim it's for diplomatic talks, but we've never seen such a large fleet movement. Do you think they mean to attack? Asked General Han, her face grim. The council prefers to call it correction, Koru replied. But yes, I fear they plan violence. Dae-Ho looked at the star map. How long do we have? Not long enough to evacuate our worlds, Koru said softly, but perhaps long enough to save some of our knowledge. Our people have prepared emergency data, packages, everything we've learned in 10,000 years. We wish to entrust copies to Earth. Of course, Dae-Ho said. But surely it won't come to... The alarm cut him off. A junior officer burst into the room. Admiral, we're receiving emergency transmissions from the Valoran homeworld. The main screen activated. The image showed chaos, Valoran cities burning. Under-orbital bombardment. Massive council warships hung in the sky, raining death upon the blue-skinned allies of humanity. This is Ambassador Kiru from the Valoran homeworld, came a frantic voice. The council came under the banner of peace. They surrounded our major worlds and opened fire without warning. Billions are already dead. Our defenses are failing. If anyone receives this... The transmission cut off in static. Koru fell to his knees, his skin turning ash-gray with grief. My family, he whispered. My world. More reports flooded in. Every Valoran colony was under attack. The council fleet moved with cold efficiency, targeting population centers first, then defensive installations. It wasn't a war, it was extermination. They're broadcasting a message on all frequencies, said the communications officer, her voice shaking. The face of High Counselor Wren appeared on screen. People of Earth. The Valorans have received justice for their crimes against galactic order. This is the price of defiance. You will now submit to proper council guidance. Your technology will be examined and controlled. Your expansion will cease. A council fleet approaches Earth now to oversee your transition to proper membership. Resistance would be unwise. The message ended. The room fell silent. Then Dae-Ho spoke, his voice steady despite the rage burning in his chest. Get me the president.